Hello everyone and welcome to another Fallout 76 video. Today we're coming to you from the couch and we're going to be reviewing the patch 29 notes that came out because we're officially in patch 29 and I have to remember to update the titles of my videos from patch 28. It's like when the year changes over for me. It takes me to about June to figure that out. So there was different sizes. So PC it was PC on Bethesda.net, it was 2.2 gigs. PC on the Microsoft Store was 9.5 gigs. PC on Steam was 2.3. PlayStation 8.45 and Xbox 11.65 gigs. It's really just how well they pair up with their distribution center's platform. Steam, of course, cares about total bandwidth expenditures. Same with Bethesda, but you can just definitely tell, Microsoft Store, PlayStation, and Xbox don't have the technology to update parts of game files, so they're much bigger patches. So, you know what? That's also a conversation on player experience as well, because if I have to download a 2.3 gig update on Steam and have it patch, that's going to definitely be a time saver and lessen my personal home resource use than using the Xbox One, for instance. I have a 300 gig maximum download for my internet, so you know if I have to update large portions of the game when I don't have to, that's something I notice. So let's go over here. We have some generic bug fixes. One moment, some coffee. Okay, so we have Garahan employee outfit now rests more naturally on the character's hips. Yeah. Equipping Raider Warlord helmet no longer causes facial hair to disappear. Textures fix a texture corruption that could briefly occur when loading into Vault 96. Textures, headless creatures will no longer appear to lack flesh textures where their head used to be. Camp and workshops, this is what I'm most interested with. Snapping toggle. A button has been added to the UI when placing or editing certain camp objects like fences, bar sets, weapon racks, light boxes, and wall lanterns that allow players to decide whether or not they'd like to enable or disable whether they'll be able to snap to other objects. Going forward, players will no longer need to decide between snapping and non-snapping versions of the objects in their build menus and can simply place one version and decide whether or not to toggle snapping on or off. Yeah, no, it's cool. There was no ability for players to choose how that snapped, so I'm not sure what they're getting on about. Appliances, yeah, that's a cool change. I'll show that in real time actually over here. Where are we here? Defenses. So Eno's Survivalist's version of these notes, she actually did some testing and found that the weapon racks, the weapon display racks, weren't working properly. So if you see R will toggle on snapping on or off. So snapping is currently on. And I will snap the next panel. Now, if I press R, snapping is disabled. So if you wanted to create a more natural fence that didn't float in air, one that followed the topography, for instance, we can do this kind of thing here and create a fence that goes up next to each other. And then the next one we could theoretically toggle if we wanted to. Yeah. So the next one we can toggle snapping back on. So, I mean, it's a really cool thing. I'm kind of stoked about it. It's not going to be a game breaker. I tend to work around it when I need to, but there are applications where it will be handy. So let's go over here. Appliances. Activating the washer dryer now causes the door to close properly and play effect. Whoa. Door to close and proper sound effects to play. Sorry, I can't read that. Let me just do one of these and make this a little bit bigger for my blind eyes. So yeah, I don't have the washer dryer yet. I still haven't unlocked that part in the season rewards. Displays fix an issue that prevented a variety of weapons from assigning what. Fix an issue that prevented a variety of weapons from appearing when assigned to display cases. Displays magnetic weapon racks now share a limited build with other displays. Magnetic weapon racks. What are magnetic weapon racks? Just the pegboard ones? Okay. Floors. Fix an issue that allowed players to move, scrap, or store floors that had walls attached, which could result in floating structures. Good. I don't like to see bugged out camps because I think they take me out of sort of the immersion of the game, but you're allowed to build whatever you want, so I'm happy they fixed that for the most part. Miscellaneous structures. The budget consumed by the Brotherhood Steel Armory is now consistent with similar structures. Fair, whatever. Stairs. Player can now correctly scrap stairs that have been attached to vault catwalk pieces. I haven't noticed that issue. Haven't used the catwalk too often, but if it's an issue and it's fixed, cool. Daily Ops, Vault 96. Blood Eagle attack dogs will only spawn in Vault 96 Daily Ops when they encounter a group is set to Blood Eagles. Yeah, I think they still had some Blood Eagle dogs left over from the quest design of that area, because you go through there for a quest series, and I think the dogs were just kind of left over from that. So that's not really a game changer. I did notice a few of those attack dogs in there when I was doing Daily Ops. Weird. Items, backpacks. Flare applied to Brotherhood of Steel backpack no longer appears to float. Cool. Consumables, the carry weight booster description now correctly states that the item's effect lasts for 30 minutes. Cursed weapons, restored the cursed prefix. Yeah, they took the cursed name off of it. They've added that back. Power armor. Mind, Velox, and enlightened power armor, or enlightened mind power armor skins will now provide proper resistances. Cool. Power armor light from T65 headlamp now shines in the correct direction in third-person view after applying the Scabber paint. Okay. Legendary weapons. A single-shot range weapon can no longer spawn with the last shot legendary attribute. Yeah, and a few other people pointed out this is going to create... This didn't delete those, so it's going to create a new legacy set. So let's say you had a last shot crossbow, a last shot bow, last shot black powder rifle. You could get some extra damage off those. It wasn't intended to spawn in those in the first place, but there was a bug with it. So if you had any one of those last shot weapons, you now have something that nobody else can get. So yay! Just have more of those. And on a no, I'll save the legacy rant for later. That's something that was so incredibly rare when they first came out. I'm tired of seeing 3 legacies on every event that I go to now, because they weren't that popular then, and you're only going to lose some from people leaving the game, but they seem to be more common now than ever. But we won't get more into that. Unarmed melee weapons. The crafting requirements for legendary Facebreaker is now properly includes 2 legendary modules, and the craft has been re-enabled. Yeah, they didn't include legendary modules in the craft, so they disabled it until they fixed it. Unarmed melee weapons. Power fists, including Facebreaker, now correctly spawn with a standard appearance mod equipped by default. Interesting. Because Facebreaker has a unique paint job with it, so it's interesting that it's going to have the standard yellow paint job. Localization. Yeah, the game's developed in English, so some localization improvements. So yeah, Smiley was improved. You couldn't buy gold bullion beyond the current or the previous cap before they increased the gold bullion cap. So he would basically not sell it to you if you were over limit to prevent you from wasting gold, which was nice, or caps. But when they raised the limit to 10,000, they forgot to raise the logic in his configuration. So he'll now sell you gold bullion up to 10,000. Quests and events. Let me see here if there's anything actually really useful. Drostos, a condition to prevent players from completing Drostos event. Guest. Fix an issue causing distinguished guests and swarm of suitors to only grant legendary cores for the highest level of completion. Oh, that's really cool. Okay. So, there is distinguishing guests and swarm of suitors. There's different tiers of completion for them. And it would only give you a legendary core if you did the highest tier. I'm happy they fixed that, because very rarely would you actually complete Swarm of Suitors was a notable one. As I am melee, it is almost impossible for me to complete Swarm of Suitors to the highest tier. So I have to settle for what I get from it. So it's nice to know that I'll get a legendary core, so I'll actually maybe start doing that event now. Event reward, feed the people in Campfire Tales now correctly awards 1 to 3 legendary cores upon completion. Yeah, it was kind of funny that the public events weren't giving legendary cores out. One Violent Night now correctly awards legendary cores on completion. So like a lot of chump events were giving me legendary cores, but the big ones that everybody's kind of expected to show up to wasn't doing that. So I'm happy they've made those improvements. That's 5 events there that will now start awarding legendary cores more consistently. Missing persons. Press the blue. Out of the blue. Yeah. Typos. Catalyst. Okay, seasons. Rank up rewards. Fix an issue preventing players from earning atoms. Rewards offered by certain ranks beyond 100. Okay. Players who were affected by this issue are able to revisit the season scoreboard and claim their missing atoms. So that was for ranks, rank up rewards. That was for ranks beyond 100. Once you complete the seasonal scoreboard, they now have basically a secondary rank system that'll give you some rewards. So it's still like basically people would get to 100 and be like, okay, I'm out till next season. So now they give you something that's going to give you at least some token reward beyond that point. And there was an issue claiming atoms. I haven't been that high yet this season to see that. So we'll... I hopefully I won't run into that problem. Well, I won't run into that problem when I get there. User interface. The carry weight displayed by Pip-Boy is now consistent with the player's actual carry weight. Interesting. I haven't had any issues with display versus actual carry weight limit. Okay. Controls. The game controls will no longer become unresponsive when exiting a workbench. Cool. That's nice. I've had that happen a few times. Favorites. The favorites menu will now correctly displays blade icon for Chinese officer sword. I don't recall what it displayed before. I used a Chinese officer sword a lot when I first started playing the game. It was one of my first, good melee weapons. I had a 1-star legendary version of that. That was, I think it was like Zealots or something, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I don't recall. I think it has the same, had the same image as the hatchet or something. So scoreboard, fix an issue with some players. Fix an issue which some players need to log out and back in between claiming rank up rewards and accessing it in game. Never noticed that issue. Good that it's fixed. World general. Corrected several locations where players could see outside the game world. I could still probably find another 100 if I wanted to, but sure. Okay, bug fixes. Interiors. Enemies now respawn correctly inside of interiors that are also used as instant daily ops locations. That is very good. So West Deck will no longer be abandoned. That's a great something a proper improvement here. This has been out since was it Steel Rain came out. Pathing address several locations in game where players could become stuck. Cool. Again, I could find 100 more. Again, I don't play Bethesda games for a bug-free experience. Kind of like having a classic car. You spend a lot more time dreaming about those times when it works perfectly. But then you spend, all winter working on it, replacing an engine, and then the reality is after 3 times, you're back to trying to work on it because it's stalled on the highway. So yeah, Bethesda is a classic car. It's kind of suffering, the tease of enjoyment, not actually real enjoyment. It's good that they're fixing the bugs. West Tech fixed an issue where the door inside West Tech FEV Production Center was inaccessible outside of the Catalyst quest. That's cool, because I wanted to go re-explore those areas. When I'm doing the quest, I don't like, getting into every corner, every nook and cranny. I want to sort of play the quest in a more organic sense. So I wanted to go back there and explore that at a certain point. I haven't done that yet. It's sort of on my to-do list. Anyways, that's it for these changes. Again, it's just a short little patch of bug fixes. Again, it's strange for me that Xbox, for what's in this, Xbox and PC have to be 10 gigs plus. When again, this is just the configuration file changes for the most part. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you've liked it, please consider subscribing. If you have any comments or suggestions, post it below. I read every single one of them. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next video.